So we have a service call today for this AirChange package unit here. Sorry about my little mates. Basically the call is that they reckon it's not working. We are going to dive into it and see what we can find. I did a video recently, maybe not so recent, I can't remember actually, about these particular type of units, the AirChange units, how they work and all that. So yeah, we get to go a bit further into it today, which would be kind of cool. Okay, so just popping off the lid. So I know that this one here is out of gas. I know that because someone has written that on there. But this here is cold, hasn't been running for a while. Like I said, these ones are actually hooked to the BMS system, so we might head down there now and see what we can see. Okay, so I've come down to the BMS room, and as we can see, we've got an alarm, although that is not the aircon we are looking at. So first things first, we'll mute that. Alarm accepted. Okay, mute that again. You're not gonna let me do it, eh? Jesus, here we go. All right, I'm just gonna keep scrolling to the end of this and I'll come back in a sec. All right, well that was a solid 5 minutes of pressing the button. It was all the controller 1 fault online. But if we look up here, we've got, so pack 1 and pack 2 are in fault. So the pack we're actually looking at, pack 7, it just says it stopped, and everything else looks fine. So we'll go into the controller here and we'll see what these 2 alarms are. Alrighty, so these are our package units. So I went through and had a look at the history of the site. So package 1 here actually requires a new fan motor and VSD. That wasn't quoted by me, but we'll go in there and see what the fault says anyway. VSD fault. Okay, so that we know, that's fine. Let's have a look at this other one. Go home. We'll go pack 3, see what the alarm set is on this one. So that also says VSD fault, so that's interesting. We'll have to dive into that as well. But for the unit we're actually here to have a look at, which is pack 7, says it's satisfied. So what we are going to do is I'm going to set the parameters. I think from memory, we can actually force this one to run. There we go. So stage 1 override is off. That unit, we're gonna go stage 2 because stage 1 is low on refrigerant. So we're gonna go stage 1 on. There we go. Set parameters. Cool. All right, so we're gonna jump back up on the roof and see if that unit's now running. So I've just come up now and the second stage is running. So first stage has been locked out. Again, that wasn't by me, that was by someone else. Honestly, what I think is happening, or at least the main issue I think is what is happening, is that there's the trainers who put in the call to management to then let us know that they think that there's an issue. They're unaware that this, we've got an outstanding quote waiting for this, like a leak test and repair on this one. So today it's a little bit overcast, but previously we had a couple of 25 to 30 degree days, and I'm going down the path of just thinking that that room, it's quite a large space downstairs, running off 1 compressor is just not enough to cool the space. However, we will dive a little bit into it and just see if this stage is working, because I'm just noticing over here, I'm just going to let it settle to see if it does simmer down, but we do have a flashing sight glass. Yeah, we might have to probe up and see what else is going on here. Fucking leak time, man. So the rain's coming down and I've left my trade shade in the car. I might go get it if it gets any heavier, but I'm just monitoring my pressures from over here under the shade of this duct here. The beauty of using digital probes, I guess. I'll put a photo up, but it looks like my sight glass is flashing, but I've got 0 degrees superheat, so I'm potentially gonna go down the path of adjusting that TXV. You'll see my subcooling's 2.8, but that's also running off my discharge pressure. So I'm gonna make an adjustment on that TXV and see what happens. Okay, because it's appearing to let too much refrigerant through, we're gonna close up the TXV. So we'll go 2, 3, 4. We'll make a small adjustment, we'll monitor and we'll see what happens. So it's been running for about 15 minutes now and I've had absolutely no movement on my superheat. So I'm gonna make another little adjustment just to see what happens. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're kidding. All right, so TXV is fully closed. So I'm gonna go unback it out. There we go. Honestly, it appears as if the TXV is something's keeping it open, so maybe there's some debris in there. Honestly, with that coupled with the fact that there's leak dye, I'd imagine that there's been a lot of work done on this before, and potentially that's our issue. And actually, it's getting a bit windy. I'm just going to duck under cover 1 sec. This weather is doing me no favors. I don't know if you can see that, but it's raining. Look, I've ducked back under cover again. What I was saying, it's so that superheat, that TXV has clearly been adjusted before. So I went, what was that, 7 quarter turns clockwise to see if I could basically bring that superheat up. And I got to the end of the stem. The stem couldn't go any further clockwise. So it seems like someone has potentially there's something in there obstructing the movement of the TXV. I'm kind of making a bit of an assumption, but because there's leak dye in that system, it almost seems like potentially this thing's been running low on refrigerant. Maybe the oil has become quite thick and has gone through and maybe is gumming up, or maybe there's even a bit of debris or something in there. Maybe there's been work done on this before, but for sure that TXV isn't operating as it should. Like I said, by adjusting it clockwise, I should be seeing an increase in my superheat, letting basically you're metering lesser of the refrigerant through. So what's happening currently is with zero superheat is the metering device is letting too much refrigerant through. It's too much for the evaporator to be able to excuse me, for the evaporator to be able to evaporate all the refrigerant going through, and meaning that we've got liquid coming back to the compressor, and that's a bad situation. So by adjusting it clockwise, I should see an increase in my superheat, and I'm just not seeing that. And I've also got it to the end of the end of the stem, so I've backed it out a little bit now, but I'm going to shut this thing down and yeah, say that we have to come back and go do replace the TXV and see if there are any other issues on this thing, because look, honestly they're pretty old too, but yeah, that's the path we're going to go down. So I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I didn't think to check this sooner. So like I said, I was adjusting on my TXV and I decided just to quickly double check and follow the bulb, and so this is our TXV for this compressor here, which means that this here is our suction pipe, right? So you come back down here, you follow the bulb, it goes through there, and oh no, hey, passed up to their other pipe. So the reason that bloody wasn't adjusting, well, at least I'm going to change the TXV. Basically, it's sensing the wrong pipe. So the compressor's running, this pipe's not really changing temp. That's why our superheat is so low. So what we are going to do is we're going to swap around these two bulbs so that the TXV that's running on this compressor is actually sensing the correct pipe, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I've just cleaned up both pipes here so that our sensing bulbs will make good contact with the pipe. Both bulbs are now in place and strapped up and insulated. So again, this weather's kind of playing a bit of havoc, but already we can see that we're on the right track here. Yeah, superheat's a lot better. I've only been able to make one adjustment so far, but we can see it's coming down now. So once this wind and rain kind of buggers off, I'll be able to get back over there and make another adjustment. And then I think at least that first stage will be working nicely. We'll still need to come back and look into that. Sorry, second stage? I can't remember if I said second stage. Anyway, second stage will be working nicely. First stage we'll be able to come back and look into that as well. Yeah, rain's not stopping, eh? I might just pack up and get out of here. Anyway, those readings are looking pretty good. I will. Oh shit, that's coming in fucking sideways, eh? Yeah, I'm fairly confident we've got the issue sorted on stage 2 anyway. We're gonna have to organise to come back and sort out stage 1.